Hey y'all, Rick Rex here, back with another update for you. As promised, we're still grinding out our water loadout updates for 2022. In this one, we're going to work on our range setup. So stay tuned, because up next we'll have our single target, and I was pretty pleased with what I was able to squeeze off on that one. Now, as always, if you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button to make sure you catch every update as they come out, and also to help support the channel and help us grow as a group. So let's dive right in and cover our white mods. They're going to be the same as our melee build, but let's recap them right quick. In our weapon, I always favor the replenishing adapter, as running out of power is never a good thing, and being stuck not being able to get it back is even worse. For our head, let's go on ahead and go with supercharged whirlpool, and for our neck, let's make sure that we have escalating might in there for that extra might bump. And our back, well, no choices really apply, so this one's really up to you. Our chest is always going to be penetrating strikes to maximize our hit capabilities, and our legs, again, don't matter, as none really apply unless you're super speed, and then go water spouts. Now, for feet, I always opt for the Tumbling Master just to keep me out of trouble, and finally, for hands, always max damage. Now, next up in our build to cover is artifacts, and it's a hot topic as of late. So for this build, the optimal setup that I found starts with Omegahedron. And I chose Omega not for the damage that it'll put out on the test dummies, but instead for the extra might boost that you get while running it in regular content. As you can see, it ranges from a 3% to a 10% bump in might, which I'll take all day long, and that's in addition to the 4% that it gives you and the 765 in might just for having it equipped. Now our next arty is Quizlet. I chose Quiz again for its 765 might and a 4% boost on might, but it's extra damage coming from having to pet itself out. Now, I of course am a big fan of damage that comes from a source that I don't have to press a button, so that innate damage is really important to me because it means damage on top. Plus, it gives you an extra hit when you throw your super, and if that's not enough, extra supercharge back. Benefits, benefits, benefits. I love it. So next up is our Grimorium Verum. Now, Grim is important to the build as a power interaction is needed, or a PI, so that way we don't have to keep one in the loadout. Also, he gives us up to 765 might once again, plus a 5% might bump to boot. Oh, and did I mention he's also a pet? Yep, extra damage on top. So let's check out our allies. To maximize here, we're going to need to use our 3 from our melee loadout also. That's the House of Legends for damage, since he's the king. Batman Who Laughs for his luck of the draw cards, and support position number 1 for that chance for the might card, and wrapping it up with Emperor Aquaman using his Hear My Call ability for support position number 2, so we can make sure that Robot Sidekick performs the best that he can. And remember, Batman is coming, and he will likely sub in here for his extra damage boost. And here we go with the build. Now, it's important to note at this point that your optimal ranged loadout is with the Acrobatics movement mode. And I'll show you what to set up with the other movement modes to make it work, but for ranged AoE in water, Acrobatics is king. Now, touching base on things that'll work for all setups. First, your weapon is not important at all with a ranged might loadout, so no points are necessary here. And under your movement mode tree, for Acrobatics, make sure to take the movement mode ability at the top, which is super important, then take throwing knives, and then the innates in the lower right hand side of the screen. And under your Iconics, take only Robot Sidekick. Finally, under your stat points, go superpowered focus, take all crit attack chance and damage, and fill out that might and power, and with any remaining skill points, go health. As I always say, a dead DPS does no DPS. So let's visit right quick on the differences for super speed and flight. Now, with super speed, you'll need to take your movement mode power and only one power from the second row, doesn't matter which one, and then your innate powers at the lower left hand side of the screen. And with flight, do almost the same. Take your movement mode power, and then take dust off from the second row, and then your innates from the lower left hand side of the screen. Now on to the loadout, which is what we're all here for. We have Shark Frenzy, Depth Charge, Throwing Knives, and Aqua Lance, rounded out with Robot Sidekick and Whirlpool. Now if you're super speed, we need to sub in Water Spouts. Just make sure to watch that range, as it's really a medium range power. And if we're flight, go on ahead and go with Dust Off. And we're going to sub those 2 powers in for your throwing knives. Now, also, we went Whirlpool for a pretty simple reason. It's a 50%er and it does almost exactly half of what Call of the Deep does, and this really gives you the ability to cast it off a cooldown with a green spammer, and also you get more chances to crit, plus almost certainly an extra cast or two in a raid. Now our rotation is pretty simple. It's going to be 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4, rinse and repeat. So let's check out the damage and see what that looks like. So we got some good parses in there. Ignore that first one because I did slip up a little bit. I am only human. But looks like we got our parses as high as 163, 450, and looks like a low of a dip of 118, 954. That one does look like it's a bit of a one-off based on the amount of hits that came out of it, but your average is sticking somewhere around in the upper 40s to lower, or upper 140s to lower 150s. So really strong DPS. Hope you guys enjoy it, and let's go on ahead and check out what happens when you drop everything. Alright, so this one is always the fun part for me. So it looks like that big hit came in at 1,376,842 damage per second, with some big ticks followed behind it in that 200 range. So awesome parses. Thanks guys for joining me, and I really appreciate it. If you guys liked what you saw, please hit that like and subscribe button to help the channel grow, and also to make sure that we can put as much content out as we possibly can. Anyway, we'll see you next time for that single target loadout, so stay tuned for that. Thanks all.